Collaborative.
Collab.
I was singing on the Wish bus. It was so fun.
Oh my god.
They need to invite us again.
Do it again. I need to go back, guys.
Insufficient funds. You ain't got no money. Woo.
I don't know what's going on with Boys World. Their views and streams aren't as good as they used to be. Their aesthetics have been downright laughable at times, and yet they've been touring the East and West Coast. So I want to say that these girls might have a bright future, but something is off. It doesn't seem like they're leveling up. It feels like they might be a little stagnant, if not declining. I feel like the group's issues started from the beginning. I don't think that they utilized their resources well enough during the debut era. They're still struggling to build a dedicated fan base, and the group has consistency issues. Okay, so let's talk about the group's resources. The marketing for the first EP was successful to an extent. The group were getting millions of views and streams. People started to notice them and to react to them. But here's the thing about the first EP strategy. It was outdated and it was too expensive. Why was it outdated? The group was doing the oversaturated promotion that only works if you have money to burn. You know, oversaturation is hitting every outlet, even if it doesn't make sense. And they were doing this just for people to notice them. But turning people into fans is going to take some time, which means more money. Plus, you also have to factor in the money it takes for the looks, the music, and the amount of resources it takes to sustain a fan base. It's never ending, especially in this social media age. That's one of my biggest issues with Keen Entertainment. Why aren't their team putting in the same amount of resources like they did during the debut era? You're breaking in a new act. It takes a lot of money. And if you don't have a lot of money, you have to be smart with what you have. Like, the tactics that's going on right now isn't cutting it. The oversaturation strategy was done back in the day, up until like the early 2010s, when labels had more money and were willing to invest in their artists. These days, it doesn't work like that anymore. And for Boys World in particular, not only was the money an issue, but also the group had no clout to build off from for this marketing strategy to really propel them. Most of the members weren't well known, so basically the label was building their clout and their fan base from scratch. And let's talk about clout for a second. You know how some of the more popular recent groups had an unofficial debut before their official debut? You could argue Fifth Harmony and Little Mix had unofficial launches with the X Factor, building an audience off another's platform, doing covers and doing tours before dropping their original music. Citizen Queen was doing years of covers before dropping original music. So many artists do this. Looking further back, Britney, Christina, and NSYNC all had built fans from another platform before doing their original music. Now for Boys World, they didn't spend much time doing this. They started up their social media presence in January 2020. They were doing trendy dances, covers, and challenges, but then they started dropping original music that fall, like 8 months apart. I feel like it would have been a better idea to release their original music in 2022, have the whole 2020, 2021 to curate a dedicated fan base. Boys World could have done collabs with big TikTokers, done a series on large YouTube channels, or become frequent musical guests on big channels, something that could have drum up interest in them. Something else that could have helped, and I really wanted this from Boys World from the beginning, are high production dance and song covers. They could have done these covers, had their label reach out to bigger artists to shout them out, and then build off that popularity. There's nothing like a good cosign or shout out strategy. So come on people, there's options. By the way, since we're on the topic of cosigning and stuff, I've never seen Boys World collabing with other artists. And I don't just mean musically, like there's a handful of pics with them and other artists, but it feels like Boys World is kind of siloed off into their own world. Anyways, all of these options are smart and cost effective in comparison to reaching out to more traditional platforms. Of course, I'm just assuming that, I don't know, but I would imagine it would be more cost effective. But anyways, they can still do all this now. Have the group drop the original music in 2022. They could have really promoted with more traction since the world was coming out of lockdown. So I don't know, I think the timing is a bit off. Another pet peeve I have with Boys World is that they're either doing too much or too little. This era, the rollout started at the top of the year. We had Mantram in January, then Me, My Girls, and I in June, along with their EP drop. Then literally a little over a month later, we get Pina Colada in August, and now they're about to drop Gone Girl. At first, I thought they were dropping singles because their second EP wasn't doing well, but then I looked at how last era they dropped singles months after their first EP too. So this is their MO, and on top of all this, Boys World is touring for their second EP. There's a lot going on that sometimes it feels like they don't allow their singles to breathe, but not only do they not know how to let their singles breathe, but they're having trouble making them last. They've done dance versions to their songs and done dance rehearsals to their singles, which is going in the right direction, but I'm wondering why they don't perform their songs on other platforms. They've done performances here and there, but it's not frequent enough. Maybe it's a money thing, but they could appear on Terrell or some of these other channels like local news stations or, something. At this point, they should be doing more live versions of their songs on their channel. Every time they drop, release a live version of a single after the music video or like the dance videos or dance rehearsals to kind of hold the song over into the next drop. And all the performances need to be around 2 or so weeks apart just to make the single last as long as possible into the new song. These are all just suggestions. I don't know what they should do. You could also tease all these performance types to drum up some hype. I know a couple of the girls play instruments. I really would love to see that incorporated into live performances of their songs. Like, I don't know. Sometimes I just really would want to hear a live instrumentation of their beats. It would just be really interesting. And I would also really love to hear more a cappella or acoustic versions of their songs. That would be really, really cool. Okay, so before I close up the video, I just want to mention a couple of more issues I'm seeing from the group. Real quick, I want to mention their music. I really hope they lean more into the Tiptoe, Funeral, Gone Girl sonic style. I also love their hip hop Piper songs like So What and Pina Colada, but right now the music is a little too generic and they want to grow. This could be a problem, but they might grow out of it. I think this EP was the first time they had a lot of creative control, and they mentioned learning to write lyrics over melodies, so who knows. But I have hope that their music will level up from here. Another huge gripe I have is that Boys World is all over the place. The group doesn't seem cohesive from their looks and their music. This was super bad during their debut. It's gotten way better now, but I'm still seeing those issues from their social media. It's not the official group accounts, but rather its members' accounts. They need to be more compatible with the group accounts. I understand having their own IG, TikToks, or whatever for expressing their individualities, but my main issue is how they use their solo accounts. In my opinion, at times the girls come across as soloists. Sure, the girls are featured on the others' socials a good bit, and there are some promotion for the group's singles here and there, but there's a lot of content where the girls are doing covers of other songs. Makylie, Lillian, and Olivia especially do this a lot. There's a reason why Fifth Harmony held off from doing individual covers and why Little Mix barely did it. If the members are out here singing their original songs or covers, it takes away from the group as a whole. Maybe it's just me, but when I hear the music Lil and Olivia do on their channels, it makes their group's catalog seem disingenuous. It makes me see Boys World as a launching pad for individual success rather than prioritizing the group's success. Either focus on vlogging and keep the original music covers stuff to a minimum, or have the original music, the covers, on the group channel within the context of the group. Another issue I see from the group's social media activities is that they act like straight up influencers, not artists who make content. I understand the need to do trendy stuff for engagement, but to me there's more trendy content than there is professional content. Like, I know they post behind the scenes stuff and they tease their new singles a lot, but like I said before, I would just love to see them perform their songs with their instruments or do remixes to their songs. Just more content showing off the musicianship on their gram from the group's official social media accounts. I see more musicianship from their solo accounts, but their team needs to start pushing more of that on their main accounts to help them be taken more seriously. They have a lot of opportunities to work with what they got, because being influencers is great, but the audience might not support the music, and that's the big problem. They have to train their audience and redirect their attention. But again, this is all my opinion. Thanks for watching. Comment, like, subscribe. Goodbye.